Hello guys, so I wanted to come on here to talk about a subject that's been on my mind. I don't really talk about it a whole lot, but anyways, so I guess the title will be Living with Heart Trouble at a Young Age and Overcoming the Fear. My dad passed away whenever I was 16. He had a massive heart attack and it was unexpected. He had perfect health and it just hit him, on set. And then my mom passed away 3 weeks after I gave birth to my daughter Gracie. She had an aneurysm in her heart, so, and again, she was perfectly fine. It was just one of those things. I guess it could have been underlying health, like maybe the doctors didn't catch it or whatnot. But anyways, so as I was a kid growing up, I had, my heart would race and stuff a lot. So my mom took me to the doctor, and they were just like, maybe it's stress or anxiety. So that being said, that's what they diagnosed it with, and I didn't get treated for it. So my second little girl, as I was giving birth to her, I was in labor, and my heart started beating fast out of nowhere. Well, previous to that, a few weeks before I went into labor, I had called my doctor and said, I've been having all these heart flutters and something don't feel right. And he's like, well, that's just, your body getting ready to have your baby or whatnot. That's what he told me. So I just thought it was that. But like I said, as I was giving birth to her, ongoing the labor process, my heart shot up from 200, it would go to 90, just up and down, up and down. And then all of a sudden it shot up way high, and I passed out, and I would keep telling my husband, something's wrong, something's not right. And it even got to the point to where I wanted my mom out of the room. I didn't want to scare her because I knew something was wrong. My heart, literally, the gown they had me in, you could see it. It was going like this right here. So I told my husband, I said, I want my mom out. And then after when she went out, my poor grandma, she wanted to come see me. What she didn't know, nothing was wrong. And I tried to stay calm, and she came in, and they said that my face was extremely pale. So I played it off that everything was okay, and then I just told my husband, I said, I'm having them again. I don't want nobody else in this room until, I figure out what's going on. So everybody left, and it was just me and my husband. So I kept having these real high heart rate spells, and the doctors would keep coming in and out. And finally, they stopped coming. I guess they thought it was from labor. And I told my husband, I said, I want the nurses in here now, and I want the doctor in here now. And I blacked out again. Finally, they came in there and rushed all this stuff on me. And, that's when I found out that I had heart trouble. So, that being said, after when I had Gracie, the doctor recommended me going to see a heart specialist. So I did that. So they ran these EKGs on my heart, and then I had to wear these little heart monitors. I had wore 2 or 3 of them because come to find out it was SVT. So after that being said, I didn't think nothing of it. So they prescribed me this medicine. They gave me atenolol. I think it was maybe 10 milligrams to begin with. And I kept getting heart trouble, and my heart would race. I'd feel drained all the time. So I went back, and come to find out after 2 years later, after that being said, I got pregnant again. So they put me on, I don't know I think they kept me on the same medication. That's what it was. And then at the end of my pregnancy, or maybe the middle of it was, my heart was going all crazy and stuff. So they took me off that medicine and tried something else. So after that part of the pregnancy, and then toward the end of the pregnancy, yeah, it's all scattered. It was scattered at the time. They took me off the medication for some reason. So I got off the medication, and I was afraid of, obviously giving birth again because with Grace and stuff. But what they done, they gave me a dose of the medicine, and I was completely fine with giving birth to Justice. So I didn't think nothing else of it. I thought, well, they've got this under control, so I can just continue taking my heart meds. Lo and behold, that's not what happened. One night I was asleep, and this was after I gave birth to Justice. I think he was 3 or 4 months old. And I was asleep, and I would wake up like I was at a dead sleep. I woke up, could not breathe. My whole left arm was numb. My heart was racing. I was like cold and like, you know, clammy feeling. And I told my husband, I said, honey, get up, something's wrong. Well, he thought it was just another one of those heart spells. I said, something is wrong. I said, I cannot move. So he knew that something was wrong, and he picked me up and carried me to the couch. And I said, you're going to have to call 911. I feel like I'm having a heart attack or something. And you know, the sign is if your arm's numb and if you feel like you're going to vomit, that's a sign of having a heart attack. I couldn't move. My heart was racing, so he called the ambulance. The ambulance got here. It seemed like it took eternity. And they loaded me up. We had to call my husband's granny, and she came down here and sat with the kids, you know, while during that time. And she came in, and she's like, I'm scattered. I'm sorry, guys. I get so much on my mind. Anyways, after she came in and sat with the kids, I had to get on the ambulance. And, of course, my husband couldn't get on the ambulance with me, so he had to ride behind me. As they were taking me to Park West, my heart wasn't, like, you know, cooperating with the medication. They gave me more medication, and it wasn't working. So they called Park West, and they, you know, they was giving them the description of what I was having, and they told them to give me this shot that stopped my heart. I didn't know that at the time. And so he's like, well, I'm going to give you this shot, and it's going to stop your heart, you know, yada, yada, yada. I was terrified. He gave me this shot. My heart really felt like it was exploding. So I reached up and grabbed his hand. I'm like, you know, I'm scared. He gave me the shot. It still didn't help. So he called again, and then they turned the sirens on. I was left there on the cot by myself. So all I knew to do, what was going through my mind, I remember them carrying me out on the cot into the ambulance and doing all this in front of my kids. My kids did wake up at the time. And I remember praying. I said, God, you know, I don't want to die, but I could feel my body leaving me. That's how high my heart rate was up, like I was on the verge of dying. I said, God, I do not want to die and leave my kids like this, you know. I'm young, but I said, if it's my time to go, I said, well, Mama, I guess I'm going to meet you. I said, God, forgive me for all my sins if I've ever done anything wrong. And right when I spoke that prayer, I could feel my mom get on that cot with me. And I wasn't scared no more. I remember looking out and trying to see if my husband was behind me, which he was. And I'm not going to cry because I just don't want to. And anyway, so I got to the hospital. They told me that I could have all this brain damage and heart, you know, it could have like damaged my heart and stuff. Thank God that it didn't. So Dr. Gamble was like, you know, it's SVT. Nothing else was done. He upped my heart medication, went back, you know, to get further evaluated. And I kept having these spells continuously. And after he bumped my heart meds up, it started making my blood pressure going down. And then at night, I'll still have the heart spells. I'll never forget it. One day, my husband, and keep in mind I had 3 kids at the time. And I was breastfeeding and all this and that and the other. And I'll never forget it. After a doctor's appointment, me and my husband had went out to eat. I didn't know the medicine can do this to you, but I felt like I was literally losing my mind. That medication lowered my blood pressure so low. It's like I was forgetting stuff. I would forget where I put the thing to wash dishes with and everything. So they switched my medication to Metropropyl. It still didn't help. So they put me on another monitor, and they're like, you know, the only thing that we can do is do a, what is it called? It's where they go in there and ablate the areas, a catheterization, that's what it is. So we scheduled that, and of course I Googled it and watched YouTube and all these things that could happen. I was terrified. But anyways, as I went in there, my heart doctor told me this, which he's a very good heart doctor. He looked at me and he said, I don't think there's nothing wrong. I just think it's the SVT. He didn't think it was that bad at the time. He just thought that, you know, it was just regular, something that women has and they would grow out of it. So I told him, I said, you know, something else is wrong. So he got me in there, and you're awake for this. Got me in there. I was in there over 7 to 8 hours awake. And what they do is they go up in your groin area, and they go up to your heart, and they like speed your heart up with this medicine. and then that's what triggers off your SVT. It's called supraventricular tachycardia. So that being said, he found like 4 or 5 different areas that he had to ablate. He came out, and after when he had talked to my husband, and after when they got me, you know, settled and everything, he came out and apologized to me. He says, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I never could imagine you being so young would have this." So I'm like, you know, I knew something was wrong. And anyways, after that being done, and the first time that was done, after when they pull out the thing in your groin, like the catheter thing, it started like spewing out blood, and I about passed out. So they had to like tilt the bed with my head, you know, pointing down, and my husband went out and got a drink. I was so scared. I thought I was going to die. So I got put in the hospital that night. So after that was done, you know, I had this fear on me. That's another thing that came with the heart trouble, was the fear. Hold on one second. Go around. So I dealt with the fear, me being a stay-at-home mom with my kids. I'd have all these spells still. My heart wasn't regulated. I'd have trouble breathing. Me being young, I'm like, you know, I'm going to die here with my kids. That's what I felt. So for a long, long time, I dealt with that. So.
Hey, Mama, I've been eating gravy and biscuits and neighbors.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, guys. So after that was done, I dealt with that for all this time. And it was just minute by minute, me being scared that I was going to die. And the heart stuff kept going and stuff, so they done another catheter ablation. They ablated 4 to 5 areas again. That still didn't work. I still kept having all this heart trouble. So eventually he sent me from Knoxville to Nashville to a different doctor. I had to quit taking the meds. I was in SVT during that time, and the doctor's like, you know, I can see the SVT. More than likely, we're not going to be able to fix this unless you want a pacemaker. So I told him right away, I do not want a pacemaker. So he got in there. This is the doctor in Nashville. He got in there, and I was awake, but they had me kind of sedated. But like I knew, but I didn't, you know. But I wasn't scared because I already knew what was going to happen, because all the other 2 or 3 times that I've done the catheter ablation. So after that was done, he came out and he's like, you know, the area that has to be ablated is in like the sleep node, which is the area, if they ablate, you have to get a pacemaker. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to deal with the medicine as long as I can. And that's what I done. He switched the medicine from metoprolol to propofol, and thank God that medicine is awesome. I don't have the weak spells. I don't get dizzy. It makes me tired a little bit, but I take them 3 times a day, but it keeps my heart rate down. And sometimes at night I do have these episodes, but it's very rarely now. But anyways, and I'm sorry that this is scattered, but this is just something that I wanted to come on here to talk about. Pitt Noble, if you're dealing with any kind of heart trouble or whatever it may be, if you're young, just do what the doctor has to say. And once you're diagnosed with that, it is hard to accept at first. It took me a while to accept it, and it took me a while to get to the medication that would get me under control to where I don't have the racing heart and this and that and the other. But I'm so thankful that they did find a medication that, you know, could help me. But I guess the reason why I'm wanting to get on here to talk about this is because, you know, people this young, you wouldn't think that they have heart trouble, but they do. So, just follow up, all of you women and men, whoever's watching my channel, if your heart's racing, if you think there's something wrong and you feel that there's something wrong, go to the doctor and get it examined, because you never know what it could be. I just wanted to get on here to share that with y'all because, you know, that's just something that's been on my mind. And, you know, for the longest, I had a fear that my mom and dad died so young. And here I am. I'm 27 now. And at the time, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm going to die. I've got these heart troubles. My heart's getting up so high. I would literally almost pass out at home with my kids. I didn't have nobody to come sit with me. At the time, I'd have to call my husband home from work because I was under so much fear that I was going to have a heart attack and die. He missed so much work during them times. And it's thankful that he had a boss that, accepted and, knew that he had us here at the house and that we needed help. It was just a hard time in our lives at that moment. But we overcome it. So I'm very thankful for that. I get sometimes disappointed that I have to take the heart medicine. I can tell every morning that I get up, if I don't take that little pill, my heart's racing. But, I'm thankful for the medicine too, but I just hate having to take the medicine. But it's better than getting a pacemaker. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here to talk to y'all. If you all are having any kind of racing of the heart that just lingers, go to the doctor, because, having heart trouble is nothing to mess around with, and it's nothing to overlook. If my mom and dad would have went to the doctor and got examined and found out what their trouble was, I think they would be here in a way. But, whenever it's our time to go, God, pulls her card and we got to go. But He gives us knowledge, too, to get your health checked. Keep your heart healthy. Keep your body healthy, whatever it may be. And just keep getting checkups from your doctor, because, our life's precious, and that's just something that has been bearing on my mind. I know I didn't get the whole full story the way I wanted it, because I've got 4 kids, I've got dogs walking around here, and it mutters my mind up, but y'all can get the point. And I appreciate y'all watching and taking the time to support my channels, and I hope y'all are having a good day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.